Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Germany and at the Hockenheim Ring for tonight's penultimate round of the CSRL Season 9 GT Series. And it's very interesting coming to the end here. Looks like possibly the pro class may be already kind of sealed in the hands of Craig Chancic, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Talk about the track here for a second. And this is a very unique one, and it's gone through some very major changes to the track layout. The track origins of the circuit began with a conversation back in 1930 between timekeeper Ernst Christ and his young assistant, who suggested put a racetrack in their hometown of Hockenheim. And taken with the idea, Christ took the idea to the mayor, Philip Klein, and appropriately on Christmas Day, 1931, the municipal council unanimously approved the plans for the new circuit, and work began right away on March 23rd at 1932. 2 months later, they were already racing on the track with motorcycles. At that time, back in the early 30s, the track was massive, about 7.5 miles, and almost looked like an exact triangle. Really long straightaways and just kind of tight little turns, and almost looked like a right triangle. Then in the late 30s to the 60s, it changed majorly to about a 4.5 mile track that was a little bit more curved. It took out a long run to the far end of the circuit with the tight turn, and just a little bit more rounded. And that's kind of the shape that it took for a while. Adding in the Sox curve, which is now the kind of like the stadium portion of the track. That's where it remained in that shape for several years until the 2002 redesign, where you now have the parabolica, you have the hairpin, and you have the course that is certainly known now for some really good Formula One racing when they do take their trip here to Hockenheim, and hoping to put on a great race here tonight for CSRL. Carl, we're joined in the booth by Joe Sullivan. Joe, welcome to Hockenheim. And I hope about your galoshes. It's a little bit damp out there.
Yes, it is. These boys are going to have to battle the weather along with the track here tonight. It's really, I've only gotten one race in here, actually a couple weeks ago in our GT4 class, and really a hard track for me to kind of get a groove on and get an understanding of. I mean, it was a little tough for me to kind of get a grasp of this place. So maybe these boys can show me a way around here tonight, even though it's in the rain, but I'll be able to, maybe these boys can show me something here tonight.
Before we get into it, want to send a shout out and a thanks to our series sponsor, and that being Skyler Vickroy. And if you want to get behind the wheel of the 27 and ride around with, the 28 and ride around with them here tonight in the Corvette, you can check them out on youtube.com/@AVOVOOM Gaming, or check him out on his Twitch channel with the gamer tag AVOVOOM. We talked many times about which cars these drivers like to select, and ultimately it usually comes down to a preference. There's some cars that maybe factor out a little bit more than others, but I mean, when you take a look at the numbers for the season here, and we'll bring them up here, this is what it looks like coming into the penultimate round. Class wins are just slightly favored for the Porsche, but you look at the podiums, it is predominantly the Porsche, the Ferrari, and the Lamborghini are the ones that seem to be the favorites and the ones to get yourself up there on the podium.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see this. We got 2 races left here, so we got a lot of data to be able to compile here, and it was really interesting to see the heavy hitters here. I mean, obviously the Porsche. I mean, I think a lot of people are comfortable in that car, and the Ferrari and the Lamborghini as well. So it was a nice little list you put together here, and it was pretty cool to see this information.
Yeah, and it's cool to just kind of break it down and see what seems to be not just the favorites of the drivers out there, but what seems to be the winners. And it seems like the Porsche is certainly the heavy favorite. And you say that, but every manufacturer has at least one win, except for BMW, Ford, and McLaren. And every one of them has a podium except for the lowly McLaren. And as usual, we have the one lone McLaren out there, Ian Wilson. He has been a McLaren man since I think the time that we started doing the broadcast here for CSRL, and he is not wavering. That is the car he wants to drive, and hoping that one day he can wrangle that thing in and we can see some flames before they update it and bring the new McLaren in here. Hopefully that new McLaren's got some flames on it as well. But we'll take a look now at the standings for CSRL, and again, coming to the end of the season here, and it's still pretty tight over in the AM class, and I mean for good reasons. It's kind of been a 3-horse race over there. It's really kind of fallen down to maybe a 2-horse race, as it is Christian Ortiz-Torres at the top of the boards by 4 points over Bryce Reiner. But obviously we know Bryce has the speed. It's just, does he have the patience, and can he actually put a race together? When he does, he is usually the favorite to win the M class. But there's been several times now that you look at the first couple laps, and that's usually where you'll find that number 24 having some issues. John Nominger still in the mix, still has a chance, but he's going to need some really good finishes and going to need some really bad finishes by Ortiz-Torres and Bryce Reiner. Over in the Pro Class, as we mentioned, just about a cut and dry deal there for Craig Jancic. He's going to need a really bad finish and maybe 2 bad finishes to finish out the season here, as he's got a 14-point lead over Peter Moeller. And then Colin Winslow is another 3 points behind, as that one kind of ended up being a 3-horse race. Unfortunately, with Siviani Madrigal not here last week, it certainly hurt his chances at an outside chance for the championship. But it's been a great season so far. Again, this is the second last race of the season, so we are down to the end. Certainly looking forward to these last couple races, and hopefully it sounds like we're going to be back on tap for season 10, and that's going to be right around the corner. So obviously looking forward to that as well. But it's time to get some racing in here, Joe, and we got our results from qualifying. We'll take a look at that right now, if it decides to come up.
A new face on pole here.
There we go. And in the Pro Class, indeed, it is Jonathan Neal on top of the boards with a 149.584. Greg Jancic, Colin Winslow, Siviani Madrigal. Good to see him back in there. Tyler Torville in 5th. Then 6th through 10 is going to be Skyler Vickroy, Peter Moeller, Morgan Smith, Dan Herrera, Herbert Pineda. Rounding out the Pro Class field is going to be Osvaldo Blanco, Devin Young, Frank Bassano, Jim Dutton, Renan De Lima, Salvador Duran, Austin Diltz, Randy Ayers. 18 cars in the Pro Class, and that's an awesome sight here for the 2 races to go for the class. Over in the AM class, it is Bryce Reiner on top of the boards. No surprise there. John Nominger in 2nd. Christian Ortiz-Torres in 3rd. Your top 3 guys for most of the season here. William Burrell, Jay Little are going to round out your top 5. Then you got Stephen Price, Jim Herrick, Ian Wilson, Todd Torville, Fazio Vizillo rounding out the top 10. And then Paul Bailey going to round out your field here tonight. But again, 29-car field. Love to see it out there for these boys, and they absolutely deserve it. They put on a good show out here, and I'm looking for a good show here tonight, Joe.
Yeah, 29 cars. Like we said at the end of last year, I mean, to be able to have this kind of car count, it always dwindles as the season goes on, but these guys still just, I mean, fill the track up here. I mean, almost 30 cars is amazing. And, yeah, I'm ready to see what these boys can do. You got Neil on pole here. Reiner, your AM class driver, he's starting 4th overall. And we'll see. Last week he just kind of got into a little bit of an accident. I mean, I don't think he really made a mistake there, but he just was at the wrong place, wrong time. We'll see if he can kind of hold it all together here and put this thing together and have a good finish here tonight.
He's going to have to if he wants to have a chance at this championship and to get ahead of Christian Ortiz-Torres, as the field will round the final corner, and we will get ready to send them off. Already got some jockeying for position in the back. As you can see, the conditions are very wet heading into turn number 1, and you got to be safe out there. A little bit of 3 wide, a little bit of 2 wide. There's plenty of runoff on the exit, but a good start there for Jancic, already getting the better of Neal. Heading now down into turn number 2. A big move there by Neal. And It's not going to be enough. He's going to settle back into second, but he's going to dive right behind Jancic. Gets a good run. You see these drivers struggling for grip a little bit. It is treacherous out there. It may not seem like much, but it is not fun at all in the rain. And here we go, move through the parabolica to the outside, which is now going to turn into the inside for the hairpin. And this corner right here is going to be very tricky. This corner is insert your expletive here.
Big contact there. John Nobinger. Holy moly, I don't know what happened.
Take a look here one more time, see if we can get it.
Oh, Nobinger, no. Rill's calling.
Big moment there as Nobinger gets into
like
Colin Winslow extremely hard. Both of them did come back on the track, but we'll take a look at that one more time if we can. And not sure if that was just some late braking or what the case was, but that ended up being a huge, huge crash. Well, right on board here with
huge championship implications on both sides of it here. Nobinger did not need to be able to make any mistakes to try to get a late run at this, and Colin's trying to fight with Moeller for second in the pro class. Definitely not the start for him or either one of them. Oh,
and you see
it just did not stop.
Now it was not stopping at all. Not sure if he got in a puddle, hydroplaned, or what the case was, but that was a hard impact, and it looks like some major issues there for Nobinger, but even more issues there for Colin Winslow. Savini Madrigal looks like he might have gotten involved in that as well. We'll try and take a look at that one more time and see how Madrigal got involved, or maybe he just got to break in time here.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it looks like a lot of guys really missing out in a good way.
Yeah, that could have been 1,000 times worse. But really 2 cars heavily involved, but that could have been disastrous for several drivers.
Well, we joined the field one lap later now, and you see Jonathan Neal did retake the lead here, and as I mentioned right there at that hairpin, it is not fun in the dry conditions in the wet here. You have to really tiptoe through there, and it just takes forever to fully get that power down coming out. But it looks like really just a couple of drivers involved here early. It looks like everybody else making it through the first couple laps for the most part unscathed, but man, I mean, that was a major one for 2 guys, both in the top 3 in their respective divisions. And I mean, I don't think that was any kind of ill intent from Nobinger, but he sent it in there. It did not stick at all. There was no braking whatsoever. And I mean, it looked like he tried to start braking at the normal spot, but it locked up on him. You see him right away turn towards the grass to try and avoid people as much as possible, but then once he got to the grass, it's ice.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you're at that point, you're along for the ride. He was trying to make a pass there and got into the ice essentially, and he's along for the ride. So very unfortunate start for those 2 drivers. Showing a bunch of crashes, but I think it's just those guys breaking into that hairpin there, because yeah. I mean, that's gonna be a treacherous part here. I mean, that's already a tough enough corner, but you throw the rain and the wetness here and poor visibility. It's gonna be a hot corner for sure here all night.
Well, speaking of the visibility, we'll take you on board here at the beginning of the race with Ian Wilson towards the back of this field. We talk about the lone McLaren, and you see once they get the green flag, he's got some distance in between him and the field in front of him, but I mean, you see the visibility is very bad, and all these drivers tiptoeing through the first couple corners. On board here with William Burrell heading into turn number 2, and you see until everybody starts really getting on the brakes and not spraying so much, it's tough. It's just basically a whiteout. I mean, if you know anything about it, you see a little bump there. But you know anything about driving in a whiteout in the snow, I mean, that's basically what it is here on the track here in the rain. You see, luckily, he's got enough of a gap right here going through the parabolica. But you take a look up here with Jay Little. and you don't even see the brake lights until you're just about on them. So you say you want rain and iRacing. Well, that's what you get right there. But joining our leaders back up here, Jonathan Neal leads the pro class. Greg Jancic in second, Sebastian Madrigal in third. Of those three breaking away just a little bit. Todd Torville still hanging around back there in fourth. Osvaldo Blanco making up the top five. Over in the M class, I need to take a look and see what may have happened here, because Bryce Reiner is not in first anymore in the M class. He is back there in fourth. And I don't see any kind of incidents from Reiner. Actually, I did just find one, and we'll take a look back. I just want to make sure this is actually where it started. But Bryce Reiner, that is not the track right there. It goes very wide. This was on lap number 1. Did get it back onto the track, and very sketchy there with the 957. And I believe he ended up going off track once again right there. And
yeah,
the early cold tire incidents for the 24 add up for yet another week, and you see just car after car after car after car getting along past him right now. Currently, he is now back up into third, just making the pass on Jay Little. So back into third as Little struggling for grip out of the corner there. And he's going to lose some more positions. But once again, Joe, Reiner, if he could just get through the first couple laps. I mean, I know this isn't team racing here, but I feel like he may benefit from maybe just having a driver go out there, run the first couple laps for him, and then have them come in the pits and switch him back in there just to get him started.
Yeah.
He'd probably lose less time.
You know, that's one of the corners I had trouble with, even in a dry situation. And it's, you know, this is the margin of error is so thin, you know, and you can't flirt with it at all. You got to dance with it and just let it lead, you know. You can't be taking control. You got to just, you know, let the car lead you and follow along.
Yeah, you really got to listen, and you got to feel the car here in the rain, and you got to understand what it wants to do. As big slide there from Renan de Lima right in front. Good save though out of turn number 1. It's going to allow Reiner to get on by. That's not for position as Lima's up there in the pro class. So Reiner up into third. Christian Ortiz-Torres doing exactly what he needs to do. He's up there in first, but looks like Randy Ayers and Salvador Duran getting together. But as I mentioned, Ortiz-Torres up into first.
Deluna off again.
Don't blink too quickly, because we'll show you who is in second place right now. Not going to keep him on the screen too long. Don't want to give him any kind of jinx right now, but Joe, second place so far. Maybe he's a bit of a mutter, a wetter. We never really fully established what we're going to call these guys that are good drivers in the rain.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. As much as the Corvette has had issues with, you know, lack of rear grip, and we got 3 Corvettes in the top 9 overall right now. We got Dan Herrera up in 5th overall right now, and then you got Skyler Vickroy in 7th.
And that's why we're just going to go ahead and switch over here to Christian. Nothing happened. Don't worry about it. As Jim Dutton gets around Jim Herrick right there, and you see him there in the background. But yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's, you know, some cars, the way they're set up, whether it's, you know, per track or whether it's you know, just their overall setup, you know, they have a kind of 2 different downforces. They have their slow corner downforces essentially, and they have their high speed downforces, which is, you know, what's going to translate obviously in your high speed straightaways as well. And you know, some cars just handle better through those high downforce areas. I don't think the Corvette is one of them. I think that's where the you know, the back end likes to step out a lot. But maybe, you know, this one being essentially a slower race is where it's going to play into the Corvette's hands maybe a little bit more, as unfortunately we apologize to Jim Herrick as he has not been, well, not been loved by the iRacing gods from the time we started showing him here on the track. And right there you see big slide, and he's going to lose second place. But yeah, I mean, it could be just the fact that this is a quote-unquote slower race. Maybe that's what it's playing in the hands of the Corvette a little bit. But we looked at the graphic in the beginning of the race, and it was Porsche on top of the boards. You look at the top four in the Pro class. They're trying to make a bid to move that Lamborghini up there further. Lamborghini 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Pro class. And man, I mean, you look at the entire Pro class, and it's almost completely littered with Lamborghinis. I mean, you look down there, 8th, 9th, 10th, was it 14th is a Lamborghini, 15th a Lamborghini. Apparently, Lamborghini is the one running the rain.
Yeah, they're making its case right now, that's for sure. I just want to do a quick update. Colin Winslow has not come out of the pit, so it looks like he is packed it up here tonight, and will not be continuing on here.
That is certainly a real shame, as it was a chance yet for him to get up there in the points, but it's definitely going to go by the wayside now. And looked like the other competitor that maybe had a chance to get up there and challenge Craig is not exactly having a good run here as well.
Here, yeah.
Getting together with Jim Dutton and then spinning right around.
They try to get around Jim on the outside there, and they got together and kind of slow spun each other.
But you see some real respect there for all the other drivers, just taking his medicine, waiting there, making sure he rejoins correctly. There's so many times where guys get frustrated because they got spun out, or they spun themselves out, and they try and gun it real quick and get right back on pace, get it straightened out because they feel like it might be the right thing to do. I mean, I myself did it a bit on Sunday night, and I should have just did the right thing and held the brakes instead of trying to kind of straighten the car out, thinking that was going to be the best way for the driver behind me to get around me as I was spinning. And yeah, it wasn't, clearly. And in this case right here, Peter Muller does the right thing and takes his medicine, falls back to 13th place in the M class, or in the Pro class. But we've got to change for the lead.
Sometimes you have to make a split decision, and it's, oh yeah, we have Craig at the lead here. Sometimes you just have to make a split decision, and sometimes you guess and you guess wrong. Sometimes you guess and you guess right. So it's just trying to make the right call here. Craig's going to get him on the inside here and make the pass for the lead.
Yeah, here was the pass for the lead. And nice clean pass, as the 23 did not get a good turn one, not as good as turn one as Craig Jancic. And Jancic just trying to rack up the TV time, apparently. I mean, he didn't get enough TV time on Tuesday night, winning over there in the Core Xfinity Series, and he wants to get a dry oval win and a wet road win, I guess, in the same week, and complete the true double here. I don't know if he runs in any dirt oval or dirt road races. I guess we got to try and find out, see if he can complete the four-banger for 1 week.
I wonder if he did Crandon today.
That's right, it is Crandon week, so yeah, exactly. Well, this battle is not over, as you see.
No, it's not.
Going around the outside and being brave about it. Jonathan Neal says, you know what, I want my TV time back. Sends it in on Jancic. Still side by side. What a battle here for the lead, and this is only on the, I mean, we're not even at the 15th minute yet, just coming up on it right now. But Neal certainly is pressuring Jancic, and man, both drivers fighting for grip out there. Neal just gonna get it done, getting the elbows out, and you don't see elbows out in the rain too often.
These boys are battling hard here. Neal wants this. I can feel it. He got the pole here. He's obviously got some speed here, and if memory recalls, he's been pretty good in the rain here. Is Craig gonna dive it in on the inside there? Nope.
A little fake out there by Jancic, and all the while
Here comes Mr. Smooth.
Mr. Smooth sneaking up into the picture. That being Simeone Madrigal just hanging back there. Just, boys, just go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to just sit back here and watch. Looking over at the M class, it is still Christian Ortiz Torres in the lead. He's got a 6.5 second lead. Bryce Reiner was able to make his way back through the field here a little bit in typical Bryce Reiner fashion. Making his way back through the field. He is up to second place. Still plenty of time to maybe even reel in Christian Ortiz Torres before this thing is over if he's got the pace for it. He certainly can't wait for Ortiz Torres to make a mistake because, I mean, he's Mr. Clean over here. I mean, he does everything that he can to just try and keep that car exactly where it needs to be. Doesn't force the issue too much, and it's going to be tough to just catch him on any kind of incidents that he may have. So Reiner's going to have to catch him on pure pace, which, well, we've seen doesn't exactly suit him too well sometimes. So we'll see how it plays out. But if he wants a chance at that championship coming into to next week, he's going to have to pass him. I mean, right now he is down by 4 points coming in. As it stands, unless my calculations are wrong, he's going to be down by at least 6 points heading into next week, and you can't have that. That's too big of a gap. I mean, again, Ortiz Torres has had a career year this year. I mean, he's got the most wins in the class. I don't know if he's finished outside the podium all season. I'd have to double check and take a look at that. And to ask him to finish 4 spots behind you in the final race of the season, that's a tall ask.
Yeah, I mean, what just an unbelievable dominating season from Torres here. Really, I mean, if he can come away and get this win, that'd be number 5 on the season. And I mean, Greg's had the dominating season, you know, this season and last season like that, but we haven't really seen too much like that in the AM class. But I mean, Christian has put it all together this season so far. But Bryce is coming. He was 2 laps ago, he was 2.5 seconds faster. And that last lap, he was almost 3 seconds faster that lap. So Bryce is coming.
You see him
will he have enough time, and will he, you know, will another mistake happen, or an unfortunate incident happen, or, you know, that's still to be untold here. But then we still have pit stops too coming, so a lot to be played here as we're almost to halfway here. With Skyler and the Vickroy in the picture there, I wanted to. Do you remember his save from last week?
Yes, absolutely. And
so I went and watched his stream and watched that part of his stream where he saved it, and just unbelievable save. I mean, if you guys haven't seen that, please go check that out and watch it from his stream and watch that save that he had. Just an unbelievable save to be able to do that.
So taking a look at at what's transpired here this season, and through the 8 races so far, both Christian Ortiz Torres and Bryce Reiner have 6 podiums in that class, with Ortiz Torres having 4 wins, and then Bryce Reiner having 2, with John Obringer also having 2. They make up the entire 8 races here so far, and it's kind of the same situation in the pro class, but a little bit more domination from Jancic, as he's got 5 wins out of the 8 races, and then the next 3 guys in the standings, Moeller, Winslow, and Madrigal, all have 1. But Neal is certainly looking to do a little bit better than that, as his best finish so far this season was a 2nd place, and he has competed in every race so far this year. It's only been 6 races, but I mean, he's led laps. He's had a chance, and we've seen him have fast cars before, but really kind of showing out here tonight. And you know, maybe it's the conditions, maybe it's the track. Maybe it's, you know, coming to the end of the season, he's throwing a little bit of caution to the wind. He's out of the playoff, or not the playoff hunt, but the championship hunt. So, you know, sometimes that gives drivers a little bit more edge, and especially with Jancic, you know, of course he wants to get up there. He wants to try and grab another win. He wants to get win number 6, maybe even win number 7 next week. But he's also thinking about the bigger picture right now. But I mean, if he looks at his standings at all right now, and he sees that Madrigal is behind him, but he's behind him so much in points that even if you were to finish third here and Magical goes on to win, it's not going to be a big enough difference heading into the last round. And obviously Winslow having the big issue there on lap number 1, certainly not of his fault at all, taking him out of this race and taking him out of the championship hunt. And then Peter Muller not exactly having a great race here either, still stuck back there in 12th. Jancic, can let his hair down a little bit here, and he can go for win number 6.
Yeah, I mean, with second, third, pretty much not a factor here, and Siviani just so far back that, he's just cruising at this point. I know they kind of, went side by side there for a lap or two. As Reiner is all over Torres now. He has caught him in a hurry. I was mentioning he was 2-3 seconds a lap faster, and he's going to look to the inside here. Nope.
Stay in line here, going through turn number 1. And I don't expect too much fight out of Ortiz Torres here. I think if Reiner gets any kind of run, he's going to let him go on by. It's kind of just his MO for the entire season. And it's worked out. It's worked out to a 4-point lead in the standings. But I mean, how big is this battle right now? Again, 4 points separates him coming in. It's 2 points in between each spot in the race. So as it stands right now, Ortiz Torres will be gaining 2 points. He'd have a 6-point lead. If Reiner passes him, it would go from a 6-point potential lead to a 2-point lead. And there was the attempt. It did not pay off at all. And now Reiner's going to have to get around Osvaldo Blanco before he even has a chance once again at Ortiz Torres. And again, it's Torres. Just go ahead. If you want to get by, if you're faster, go along by. I'll let you. And well, Reiner tried to, and maybe he hit the same patch that Nominger did, because that thing just shot straight through the corner.
Yeah, you can see the
and
difference.
Another issue here, another good save from Reiner.
Wow.
I think those tires are just a wee bit angry at him.
Yeah, and I'm thinking now would probably be a good time to come in and do your pit stop and kind of gather yourself. If I'm on his pit box or in his ear at all, I think now is the time. You made a hard charge there. You got to Christian. Let's come in and get some fuel in this thing and then make the last push here. As Craig is putting some pressure on Neil.
Yeah, Neil gladly gives him the inside through the Parabolica because he wants the inside on that hairpin. We've seen that inside just not be a good place to brake. Looks like he is going to get the Lambo slowed down. They'll still be side by side through the hairpin. But the inside is going to pay off for Neil. He's going to stick to that side there, give Jancic the outside, heading through the little kink right here. But these guys got to be careful when Jancic backs out of it. As now he's maybe going to look to the inside. Now he's going to fall back in line behind 23, and they will both live to fight another day. But Joe, we're talking away here. We are past the halfway point already, and it's going to be getting close to pit stop time. We already seen some guys coming into the pits back in the field and the pro class. Haven't seen any of the front runners in either the pro or the amp class come into the pits yet.
No, and actually that just triggered a memory that one of the times, I can't remember if it was this season or last season, that we had a rain race that a couple of guys could almost make it without stopping because the pace was so slow. So maybe they can go, maybe not all the way here, but to the, Siviani spins. Oh no.
First mistake from one of the top 3 here, coming through the final sector. And right there, the Jamison Lamborghini steps out on him now. This would be a good time to shoot it straight into the pits, which is exactly what he did. So maybe not going to lose as much time as he would have if he kept going on. So I think this is a good move right there by the 8. And maybe that's what the plan was to begin with. Maybe he was kind of going a little bit slow, a different line through the corner, planning on coming into the pits. It didn't work out that well, but we'll head back now to the battle for the lead overall, and it's out to about a second. But you see lap traffic coming into play, and we talked about wanting to come in and come back out where you can get some clean air, some fresh air, so you can just really put those laps down. Joe, I don't really see a spot on that track map where you can really feed back into any kind of clean air.
No, I mean A little bit of gap from, was it 9th to 10th, but are you going to be, where are you going to come out here and cycle in?
I think this is just going to be, you know, when you kind of feel it. And you see right there, like, you know, Madrigal, obviously he spins right at pit entry. That's, whether you feel it or not, that's the right time to come into the pits. But, you know, sometimes it's just, you get through a sector, you have a bit of a bad lap, or it's, you know, coming to the end of the lap and it's just not feeling that well. You just shoot right in the pits. Just, okay, this is the time that I'm coming in. We'll see if either of the front two runners come in this time. Devin Young is now the man in 3rd place, but he is quite a ways back, about 24 seconds behind this group. Neither Neil nor Jancic come in this time by. Over in the AM class, it is still Christian Ortiz-Torres. Looks like Bryce Reiner still having some issues. He's still back there, but now he's got Osvaldo Blanco and Salvador Duran in between them. And Salvador certainly got a racy car, and he's trying to work his way through this field. Starting in the back of the pack, he is up 17 spots overall and 9 in the pro class. So trying to work his way all the way up through the field. I believe he might have had a penalty from the start at Imola. I'm not sure what the case is, but you see him already diving to the inside there of Osvaldo Blanco. He's going to come in. Your sponsor here for the series, the 28 of Skyler Vickroy, now into pit lane. And once again, if you want to check out how it looks in the rain in these crazy conditions here at Hockenheim, behind the wheel of that 28, hop on over to or stay here on YouTube, but check him out at AVO Gaming, or you can check him out over at his Twitch channel, which is the Twitch channel AVO Gaming. Or, I'm sorry, no gaming, just AVO. Boom.
Devin Young up 13 spots to 3rd here. So we got some big movers here with Duran and Young. Duran, obviously, I don't think was able to put in a time, but a lot of positions here in that Porsche.
You get an idea of how far back Devin Young is, though, compared to the top two. Siviani Madrigal was able to come in, make his pit stop, and come back out, and very, very quick pit stop, just a quick little splash and dash to get back out there, and he is right behind Devin Young already, who's yet to come into the pits. The top 3, or at least the top 2 of Neil and Jancic going around again. We'll see if Devin Young decides to come in at this time by. Over in the M class, still waiting for Ortiz-Torres and Bryce Reiner to come into the pits. William Burrell now in 3rd. John O'Meara pit on that first lap, obviously, with the major collision with Colin Winslow. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough to get all the way to the end. He is currently sitting in 4th place right now. But all eyes on the battle up front here, and really up front in both places, as we've got less than a second separating the top 2 in the pro, just over a second separating the top 2 in the AM. It's what you like to see with the second last race of the season, Joe.
Yes, as well. It's both of our AM drivers are on pit road, Torres and Reiner. As Reiner got close to a second there right before they came into the pit road.
We'll see who comes out of the pits first. You see the 11 right there, Christian Ortiz-Torres, and the first car in front of him there is Reiner. Looks like it's got to be Ortiz-Torres that gets out of the pits first. But Reiner not too far behind and chasing him down to coming out of pit lane. Looks like they might have a car between. No, Reiner is going to stay out in front of Morgan Smith. Right away, Ortiz-Torres gets around one of the lap cars. This battle is certainly going to be waging again very soon. The question is, can Reiner actually complete the pass this time again? We talked about how big of a swing first and second is here when it comes to these last couple races. I mean, tonight, Reiner could be looking at a 2-point deficit or a 6-point deficit. And again, 2-point deficit, he's got a shot. He can win the last race, and maybe Ortiz-Torres comes in 3rd instead of 2nd, and he can steal the title away. But if he doesn't win here tonight, if he ends up staying behind Ortiz-Torres and has a 6-point deficit, winning next week, he's going to need Ortiz-Torres to finish in 5th or worse. And Joe, I just don't see that happening for the 11 here.
No, so this is my analysis on it. Reiner has to do whatever he can here to beat Torres. This is the championship to me. He has to win this race and beat Torres. If he doesn't, and they finish 1-2 like this, I mean, is Torres going to finish outside the top 4 next week? I mean, there's no, I don't think that's going to happen. Even if Reiner wins next week, Torres is going to be top 3. So Bryce has to find a way to get this done. He's obviously got the speed here. He kind of just needs to put some pressure on Torres. I know Torres, I mean, he's like Siviani. He's not going to make a mistake. But I think Torres will understand the bigger picture here. And if he's getting pressured too much, he'll maybe just let Bryce go in a sector that, he can...
An easier pass, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and not make it too easy, but you don't want to lose any time either because he wants to be right there behind Bryce in case something happens, another mistake or an incident or something. So, I mean, this has got to be it for Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4-point deficit as we see our leader here, Jancic, now finally coming into the pits as he was ahead of Neil. Did Neil?
Ooh,
okay,
Neil
already came in the pits. Neil came in the pits on lap 16. We just missed that. But yeah, I mean, a 4-point deficit with 2 races to go. You wouldn't expect the driver to be in a win-out situation to have a chance at the championship, but really, that's what Reiner is in. He needs to win tonight. He needs to win next week just to have a chance at the championship.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty crazy. But that's been how, not necessarily dominant, but just smooth and consistent Torres has been all season. I mean, you can't count on him finishing outside the podium, let alone outside the top 5.
No. With the season that he's had, no, not at all. I mean, I'm not so sure Bryce can even get around him here tonight, but he has to find a way. And like you said, he has to win out, and then that's just a chance. Like, a chance at it. I know that they got the drop races, so the math gets to mathing, so it gets a little difficult on our end of it. But from what we're looking at right now, man, Bryce he's got to find a way to get it done here. And we got 7 minutes left here.
Yeah, and I mean, you see he's got the pace on him, closing in on him, coming into turn at number 2 here. As really, it's only going to be a couple laps to go here. I would say probably maybe 3 laps to go in this race. So he's going to have to get done sooner than later. I mean, I know he's not going to just throw a haymaker. I mean, well, it almost looked like he tried to throw a haymaker when he tried to make the pass last time, but it certainly wasn't by design, I'm sure. But he's going to have to try and figure out.
He stored that in his memory banks, and hey, I can't do it there, or if I do it there, I got to do it differently, So hopefully he learned a little bit of that. Because he
just about
on Torres there.
Just about gets a little
smooch. That was the same corner. That was it.
It was. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. Obviously, these boys here at CSRL put on great racing every single Wednesday night. Right after this, we got the boys over at the Yes Car Truck Series, and they put on some great racing as well. And I mean, let's be honest, there's tons of racing for CRN all throughout the week, not just by myself and Joe. I mean, there's great racing all the time here in CRN. So hit that like and subscribe. Hit that little bell if you want to be notified anytime CRN is live to get you in here. I mean, if you love racing, you're in the right spot right now. And we're definitely in the right camera view, as this thing is going to be very interesting with 5.5 minutes left in this race. We got a little bit of traffic coming into play as well. Will it actually come into play? No, it looks like a good job there letting the drivers battle it out here, as it's still Ortiz Torres holding off Reiner, and maybe Reiner is taking a little patience into play, but right there, not a good turn number 1 from Ortiz Torres. And man, that's the roughest driving I've seen out of Torres all season. I mean, was Ortiz Torres getting the elbows out there?
He may have, but wow, what a move there by Bryce. And he's going to gap him here just a little bit. I wondered how that would transpire. We may have to go back and watch that again.
Take a look at the pass one more time.
Oh, Torres!
For me, as Torres goes a bit deep there. See it again, a little slow out of the corner. And, I mean, with all the rain, I'm not sure he realized he was even there. Just trying to drift over for the line and maybe trying to give Bryce the inside line, but he was already on the outside and made the pass. Now, can Reiner be mistake-free to the end?
4 minutes left. 4 minutes, Bryce.
I mean, it doesn't seem like much. It's only a couple laps to just keep it clean, but it is not. It's not an easy task. But we haven't talked about the Pro Class here in a little bit, and it's been shaken up. Greg Jancic, about a 9.5-second lead over Silviani Madrigal. Jonathan Neal back in 3rd place. He did not have a great pit stop at all. It took longer than his 2 competitors in front of him by a pretty good margin. By a little over 2 seconds slower than Madrigal, 3 seconds slower than Jancic, and he's had a couple issues since, and it's really put him behind here. 17.5 seconds now behind. He was looking at potentially his first win on the season, but now Jancic looking to clean up and take race number 6. And I mean, I know it's technically not official, but it's official. He will be your back-to-back Pro Class champion.
Yeah, I was just trying to see. I seen it showed a wreck for Jonathan Neal, and I don't know if it was SDK thing or if something really happened there, but obviously lost a little bit of time.
This is one of them here heading into the hairpin. Just driving a bit deep. Okay. Technically, but not technically.
One of them gray area things. I mean, you win 6 of the 10 races on the season. I mean, that's.
And he's got a chance at 7 yet with next week. I mean, 6 out of the first 9 is.
And there's 2 drop races this season, right?
There is, yes.
Yep. Yeah. So you win 6 of the 8 counting races.
Right.
Maybe 7. Yeah.
Well, he's got, looks like 2 laps to go. We did not see the white flag that time by. We got 2 minutes left in the race. Should be seeing the white flag this time by here. Jancic enjoying about a 9-second lead over Silviani Madrigal, who has been putting in faster lap times, but not quite enough to be able to run down the 3 of Jancic. But again, good to see Madrigal back out there. Certainly missed him last week, and we'll, looks like, get to talk to him after this one as Craig makes a mistake. He made a mistake going into the hairpin all by himself. But looking over here, and again, we talked about Craig getting the W in the Core Xfinity Series last night. Well, this man right here was his teammate in that race, and they went 1-2 as Reiner finished in 2nd. And not for lack of trying to get around him, as it ended up being a fuel race. And these guys certainly had the ticket.
I watched that last lap, and Bryce was giving it all she had. He definitely wasn't trying to lick Craig win. He was trying to give him everything he had there on that last lap.
Yeah, at least in that one, he waited until the end of the race to have a mistake, and he put it into the backstretch wall a little bit, not hard enough to damage the car and cost him 2nd place, but cost him a chance at maybe taking a run at Craig for the win. But looks like these boys are trying to go 1-1 here tonight as Jancic coming around the final corner, and you see Barney on the right-hand side there, now on your left, waving that white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Hockenheim, and the 3 looking to grab number 6. Madrigal in 2nd place, had some issues. He's going to fall back a little bit more. He has 1 more mistake like that, and Neal will be able to capitalize and maybe grab 2nd place yet. So Madrigal's got to be careful hanging on to 2nd place. Neal in 3rd. Over in the M class, Reiner has just got to make it through about 1 1/4 laps. Just keep that thing on the track, and he will be within striking distance for sure going into the final race. And I'm not sure how the tiebreakers work out. Certainly going to have to get with the admins here at CSRL to see how that's going to work out, because under my understanding, if Reiner comes in first here tonight with Torres in second, and then the same thing happens next week. They should be deadlocked on points, and that's where tiebreakers will come into play. If it goes straight to wins as your first category, it's gonna go to Torres.
Yeah, it's well, Reiner's got 2 on the season.
Reiner's got 2. This would make it 3, actually.
Make it 3.
Yeah.
Well, if he wins next week,
yeah, and then it would be 4. Never mind. Yeah, my math ain't mathin'. So, yeah, this and like I said, they've had the same amount of top 10s coming into, or podiums coming into tonight. So, I mean,
are we gonna have a race off?
Are we gonna have co-champions? I mean, if it's a race off, again, I think somebody else needs to drive the car for the first lap for Bryce to give him a chance. But I mean, he's riding the ship here tonight and done it well enough to get himself back into the lead. You see the race and the championship may be going up in smoke for Reiner. Right now, Ortiz Torres is going to get around him. And Reiner, he's got to figure out a way to limp this thing back to pit, or to the start-finish line. We're going to keep the camera on here as Jancic wins the race. Madrigal in second, Neal in third in the pro class. But this is certainly the storyline.
Oh boy.
Limping very, very difficult right now. It's bad enough that it's raining out there, but he is extremely hurt right now, is Reiner. Nobinger.
7 seconds in closing.
I mean, how about the drive of Nobinger? I'm sure Colin Winslow was not happy about it, but oh man, what a turn of events, and Reiner is going to tow in. And I mean, how about the man that's going to come home in third? We haven't talked about him at all here tonight, and really not much this entire season, but we're about to talk to him after this race. Stefan Price gonna grab a 3rd place here in the M class if he keeps it on the track. I mean, we've seen on the last lap there from Reiner, and that very well may hand over the championship, and all hopes are gone for the 24 team. And Christian Ortiz Torres may just about be crowned your M class champion. Just gonna have to keep it on the track next week and really just probably finish in the top 5 at bare minimum. But he is going to win here tonight. John Nobinger pitting on lap 1 after he had that major incident with Colin Winslow is going to come home in second, and I'm sure he'll have some words and some talking to for sure after that one. But what a drive to come home in second place after pitting on lap number 1. Certainly probably had to save a bunch of fuel to do so. But here is actually probably didn't, because I forgot these guys can fill it up, so did not. Shouldn't be surprising, but 3rd place here, Stefan Price. What a drive. It's just a guy being in the right place at the right time, and a good job there. William Burrell going to come home in 4th. Reiner looks like he is going to finish in 5th place. And man, Joe, storylines. That's unfortunate, man. I was so looking forward to talking to Bryce after this race, and just I feel for him so bad right now. I mean, just such heartbreak. I mean, he's got to be beside himself. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't even fully grasp it right now. At least he's able to come away with the 5th, I guess. But yeah, just it was right there. It was right there. Trying to find it. It's not even showing it to me right now. I'm trying to go back here and we'll show it to you one more time, but
maybe show the pass. Maybe show it.
Man, I mean, you talk about the rain here.
I can't even remember that's one of the biggest heartbreaks I've seen in such a long time in recent memory. Like, you just feel bad for as a fellow competitor. You know, he's just digging, doing everything he can there, and
well, you wonder if it's, if it was due to the rain. You wonder if it's, due to him taking a look and seeing that the race is just about over, and he's got a chance to to still have an opportunity at this thing. I mean, you wonder what's going through the mind. I mean, coming through there on the last couple laps, and man, I mean, like you said,
yeah, he had it like figured out. Yeah, he got around Torres. The hard part was done, and then sealing the deal there. I mean, he was only what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns left. 5 turns left, and he tried to limp it home there, but that thing was so severely broken. I mean, a valiant effort to try to at least limp that. He had plenty of time to try to maybe hold on to second if it wasn't so broken, and then, like give him an outside chance next week, but oof. Oh.
And right here you see it, he just gets on that curb, gets a little loose, and unfortunately at this point,
that was way out of shape.
Yeah, he is along for the ride.
He wasn't even close to like the braking yet, was he?
Take it back one more time.
Caught a curb. Was it the curb?
See it right there. Just gets a little bit wide. It's a little bit wet. It's not even the curb. It's the the paint there on the track. It's enough to be like a curb, and gets him loose. And then hard impact. Did everything he could to try and bring that thing back. But I mean, if you're Ortiz Torres and you see this right here coming in for the final lap here, I mean, it's got to be heartbreaking for him as well, because he doesn't like to see, it doesn't want to win like this, but it's got to be a little elation as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely mixed emotions to say the least. I mean, obviously he's gonna came away with a win here, but not the way you want to do it. Obviously, he wants to battle with these guys and with Bryce and I mean, yeah, I mean, the same mixed emotions going through Bryce's mind as Christian. So just, wow.
Well, I mean,
we started the race with a wow, and we end with a wow.
Yeah. And,
unbelievable, Carl.
And all kinds of rain in between in a wet track. Well, let's go ahead and start bringing in our drivers here that did finish the race and finish in good positions. And let's go ahead and talk to our first one here. If we can bring him out here, let's at least get the car out there on the track so you can see that beautiful paint scheme. And be nice if I get the right one. There we go. So, first one we will bring in here is the third place finisher in the AM class, and that is the 198 is Stefan Price. Stefan, first of all, could you see this happening here tonight? Could you see the third place? I guess the better question is, could you see out there at all?
No, I could not see this happening. Actually, the visibility was better than I thought than some of the other places we've raced in rain, but the car felt horribly slick on this track to me.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was kind of Lamborghini and Porsche dominated out there tonight, and a couple Corvettes, mixed around out there, but chose the Audi here tonight.
Yeah, I've been running the Audi a lot, and I know the last time we had a rain race, I was in the Mustang, and really wished I was in the Audi.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I don't know if there was any other Audis on the track tonight or not, but I'm not sure it was the best car. But I also had a little bit of a brake hang up. The brake was hanging up, and I had to make sure that was off before I got into the braking zones.
Yeah,
and
talk about the conditions itself. I mean, it wasn't a hard rain, it wasn't torrential rain, it wasn't puddles on the track, but it was kind of like in between there, in that in between phase. So how was the handling itself out there?
Well, the only rain races I've done has been in this league, and I'm trying to learn what's going on. And sometimes it feels like the tires are going away when actually I think it's raining harder. And I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what it feels like to me. So you kind of gotta. It's like every lap you're kind of reevaluating what's going on.
Well, I mean, you're trying to get used to the rain. I mean, you've had 2 rain races now in this league, and I mean, you're 50-50 for getting on the podium. So
yeah.
can't all be that bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations
Just don't
on
pick a Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. The Audi's 100%. Exactly. Well, congrats on finishing in the podium here tonight, third place. So want to give you time to give any shout outs or thanks that you may have.
I just really like racing in the league. So, thanks to everybody involved, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you.
All right, well, take some time and I guess gather your thoughts and celebrate this thing. I know you probably weren't thinking it was a chance until the last lap and maybe the last couple corners, but you got yourself a podium here in the rain at Hockenheim.
Yep, I'm happy about that. Thanks, guys.
That is your third place finisher here in the M class, the 198 of Stefan Price. Second place is going to be John Nobinger. And Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our second place finisher here tonight?
Hey there, John. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, so obviously we gotta talk about lap one there. Just you hit a patch of ice and away she went there, huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize we were quite that close because I couldn't see anything behind Skyler. I pulled out and then it just goes. I realized what was happening and no, it refused to stop. I attempted to try to go for the little gap that was there, thinking maybe, but it just went straight into Colin. My largest apologies. That is atrocious of me, and I apologize.
Yeah, it's these conditions weren't it didn't seem like there was too many puddles out there, or like I said, raining too hard. Stefan said the visibility wasn't too bad, but like at the start of the race there, it definitely was with all the cars there and just the overspray on each and every car there. So just a tough circumstance there, and you got into Colin, but you were able to get in the pits there and fill it up and then drive your way through and get to second here.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a battle there with Randall. He does a very good job at defending his position, and it was interesting all night. I felt like the car was about half a second from flying off the track at any given moment. Had a few little off tracks, but kept it off the walls. So as much as I enjoy rain, it was not my friend tonight. And yeah, podium here. NAM, and I hate it for Colin. Yeah,
it's unfortunate for Colin. Definitely, I mean, two championship contenders coming into tonight, and Colin kept it in the pits after that. But you were able to come back here and come away with second. It was third there until the last lap. I don't know if you seen Bryce struggling there, but he had an unfortunate accident on the last lap as well, and wasn't able to finish it. But is the Porsche some? I mean, we had seemed like the Lambo was pretty popular here tonight. The Lambo was the top three here tonight in the overall, but a little bit of the Porsches here were showing the power here tonight too in the rain.
Yeah, the Porsche is generally so good at getting out of slow speed corners. I kind of just figured it would be really good and kind of safe. Also, the liftoff oversteer for a couple of the corners, I figured I could play with that a little, but me and the Lambo after Imola, I don't think I'll be going back that route, and I don't trust the Audi enough not to do Audi things. So, and the Merc in the wet was. As much as I love that big boat, it acted 100% like a boat.
Yeah, there's no Mercs here tonight, only two Audis, but quite a few Lambos and Porsches. But you're one of those Porsches and come away second. Before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to?
You and Carl in the booth, everybody that puts on this league. I know nice having Jim back this week for everything. We just appreciate it.
Right on. Well, congrats on second, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That is your second place finisher here tonight in the AM class, the 44 of John Nobinger. And now we'll turn it over to the winner here tonight. And at this point, I'm not sure if we need to call the 11 here of Christian Ortiz Torres Mr. Clean, or maybe the Intimidator. The Intimidator reincarnated here as I mean, he had the lead from from the onset with Bryce having his issues on lap one, but Bryce made an attempt to pass you in the hairpin, Christian, and it just way overshot it. And then he finally was able to get back around you, but I think a little intimidation factor maybe on that last lap there is what caused him to have that issue.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough race. Not the race I guess anybody wants to have, where we make mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes affect the other person that's competing with you, and yeah, I mean we try to keep it together. Bryce was definitely faster than us, and he definitely made the pass at some point at the end of the race. Yeah, I mean he had the race, but it was that last lap where he had an incident, and yeah, we just took it to the end.
So we'll take it now to the end of the race, and again you're behind Reiner coming onto the last lap and really the last sector of the track. You come into the stadium section and you see him sideways, you see him off the track. What's kind of going through your mind? Is it joy? Is it elation that you're gonna try and get this win and maybe it's gonna help you seal that championship? Is it kind of disappointment that he's had the issue and it's not gonna be a little bit more of a battle? I mean, what's kind of going through your head there?
Well, yeah, first, yeah, I mean, fortunate for him. He was the fastest out of AM, I think, today. But yeah, for us, seeing that, I mean, that's the opportunity for us, and we took it. I mean, even through the last part of the track after that incident, we were just holding onto the wheel and hoping that the same wasn't going to happen to us. Usually around the last section, turns 12, 13, well, 11 through 12, the slowing down through that section, sometimes I've had at times where my car just spins for some reason, so I had to just keep going, nervous, braking, gentle, and just taking it through the end, to the finish.
Well, with the drop races, it may not mean anything at all. At the very least, I think it's going to take an absolute horrible finish from you next week to even give a hope to Bryce for the championship. So, with that in mind, I mean, what's your mindset going into the finale at Misano? I mean, is it just kind of a victory lap, or are you still kind of looking at it and you still want to be smooth and you want to make sure that you grab yourself another podium, give yourself another chance at a win out there?
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to the last race strong, give a good show to everybody, and try to just continue doing good. And yeah, we'll see how the next race goes.
All right, well, we'll see how many drivers you intimidate at the next race, as it was enough to get you the win here tonight for sure. Well, congrats on yet another win, and I mean, it's at this point it's got to start setting in that it's not a fluke anymore. Fool me once, shame on you. But this is 5 wins now on the season for you in the 11. So congrats on the success so far. We'll see if you can get it 6 next week. But before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Shout outs to everybody in the league. Shout outs to Bryce today. Yeah, he did a good job. And yeah, unfortunately, what happened to CFG and definitely my partner, Brooke, and my family in Denver, and you guys who put a good show.
We appreciate that, buddy. Well, go relax a little bit, celebrate a little bit, get ready for that last race of the season, and get ready for that crown for the amateur class championship.
All right. Thank you, guys.
That's your winner here tonight, the 11 of Christian Ortiz-Torres here in the AM class. Now over to the pro class, and we're going to start with the one that kind of dominated the first half of this race, and then the pit stops happening. Joe, we've seen it more often than not. Pit stops really change the whole complexion of the race, and for Jonathan Neal here in the 23, he's going to come home in third.
Hey, Jonathan, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Hey, man, does it feel like this one got kind of slipped away from you?
Yeah, I made a slight error trying to make sure I came ahead of him on the pits, and I knew he'd come in right after me. Well, Yeah, it's all right. I had him pretty close, and we battled pretty well. So I'm more than happy to get door to door with him. But yeah, it just kind of slipped away from me. One big mistake. So
yeah, you guys were battling pretty hard there at the first of the race, and you got the pole, but Craig was pretty aggressive on the start there and got the lead, but you were able to battle back and get him, and then you led for a little bit, and then Craig put the pressure on you and got around you, and then he led for a little bit, and then you guys were putting on a pretty good show up front there, and I kind of figured once you got around him that maybe we were speculating that Craig was going to do some kind of quote-unquote cruising, because he's seen what happened to second and third in points there, and was just going to maybe ride behind you, but then as we're talking about that, he makes a pass on you, so it was a pretty good battle you guys were putting on there, and then like you said, a couple big mistake there, and kind of put you back in third, and that was kind of all she wrote.
At least, hey, I'm happy to at least try to get a podium here, and the wet is so challenging, but that was just such a blast. That was so much fun to battle with Craig, and I was really hoping we could just have a raw fight to the end, but I'm getting more consistent, a little bit better, and starting to understand how he kind of does it, and I just hope I can kind of continue keeping up, and hopefully got some more to show later down the season or the next one. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just such terrific fun to be with him, and I know he was picking his moments and just kind of waiting, and because I mean, it's so easy to just make a mistake, small error, go in too slow, or have a bad exit, and so I know he was just picking his moments, and then all of a sudden he come out of nowhere, and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna let you just run away from me. So so I tried to just hang in there, find some. I don't know how I found some grip out there, trying to just push it to the edge, and it was razor thin. So. It's a blast racing with him. Talk
about how it is to kind of race like in these conditions, because it didn't seem like there was too many puddles or like heavy rain, but it was steady and but it looked like it was just slick out there. We've seen a lot of guys have some problems in the braking zones, and even getting onto the throttle.
Yeah, that was kind of the trickiest part to some of this the track, is you have to get on it early because it has some long straights on that tight turn, and it's just you just gotta be brave and hope that your car doesn't turn around on you sometimes. And I mean, besides that one big mistake I had, I mean, I definitely had some other really close calls, big wobbles, and it was just trying to get it down. And I don't know, this track is a little different than the last time we raced in the rain. Like, it kind of forces you to brake and race on the racing line. So it's just extra slippery when you get on the brakes or make any sudden movements. And so it's definitely quite a challenge, but as you kind of figure out the pace and you figure out where that grip is, like, kind of become more confident getting on the slicker stuff and kind of just sliding the car around and winging it. But I mean, for the most part, I was trying to stay away from the racing line, but I mean, it just, especially battling, like you just have to pick, you have to pick the slicker stuff, and it was just definitely difficult. But Craig is an awesome talented racer on here, and I was hoping I know we probably bumped doors a little bit, but I try to leave them enough space. And yeah, just I hope I can do that again and put on another good show like that.
Oh, you guys definitely. We were watching you guys, and then the battle for the AM class was heating up too. So we were kind of going back and forth, but you were going back and forth too. So putting on a pretty good show. But before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to?
I'll give another shout out to William Burrell. Thank you for bringing me along, and thank you for racing with me every time you get a chance to. And yeah, I give a shout out to Simcraft. Appreciate them. And yeah, I'm just thanks to Craig, and thanks to the other competitors out here. They're really pushing me really hard and getting me sweating. So I'm pretty thirsty for a win. I really tried tonight, but yeah, hopefully we'll come back stronger.
All righty, well, congrats on the third, and we'll let you go celebrate, and see you next week.
Sweet. See ya.
All righty.
Peace.
Is your third place finisher here in the Pro Class, the 23 of Jonathan Neal. Second place in that class is going to be Siviani Madrigal. And Siviani, first of all, welcome back. Good to have you back this week. I know you were certainly missing being out on the track with your fellow competitors last week, but you're back out here tonight. We've seen you just kind of lurking in the first half of this race and watching both Jancic and Neal just kind of let them do their thing for a while.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I was just waiting for something there. They were having a good battle. I don't want to also get advantage of that. I just was waiting if they get off the track for me. But yeah, so I was just trying to get there. And also this track is very, very difficult in wet, especially the brake zones. And yeah, I was trying to look for that specific brake zones where I can feel comfortable in making the brakes as better I can. And then, so I was trying to just to be there, be behind those guys, and also thinking that it will be really hard to overtake Craig and Neal because they have a really good pace. I was thinking to do it in pit strategy maybe, but unfortunately, in the right-hander before the pits entry, when I planned to enter the pits, I just spawned, and that make me lose a lot of time right there. And my plan, my strategy doesn't work at all. Lucky me, Neal has that unfortunate thing in the turn one. He's paying us as well. And I can get the second place tonight. But yeah, so it was a really good thing. Something that I don't understand is why John didn't point to Craig and not Colin. So I feel a bit really bad for Colin in that first lap when I see these sports coming to my right hand and going straight to the hairpin and take Colin car. I feel really, really bad for Colin with that collision. But at the end, so I was thinking that when I was looking at the reply, why Colin and why not Craig? It would be better.
You heard it live here, folks, right there. Shots fired for sure. Well, I was looking at some of the stats, and unfortunately with the with the miss last week and really just the domination from Craig this year, not going to be possible to catch him in the points. But you do have one thing that Craig does, and you have a better podium percentage than he does. He's got now 6 podiums out of 9 races. You've got 6 out of 7. So you got that over. I mean, you cruise into podiums just about every time you step up to the plate here. You haven't missed podiums pretty much at all. So you grab another one here tonight, a second place. Not exactly fun conditions out there. I mean, it was. We talked to the other drivers about it. It was raining, but it wasn't like heavy rain. It wasn't puddling anywhere. It wasn't somewhere where you had to drive off the line, that your typical racing line. You had to, stay to the outside. Was it a situation where it was slick because the wets were maybe a little bit too much and you almost kind of needed intermediate tires, or was it just slick because it's raining?
Well, that's a good question. So I never tried the slicks. But yeah, so that was the hardest part with this track tonight because it is very, very it was wet, but we don't know if we were not. So actually, I will not take that risk, right? To do in a hard component.
Oh no, yeah. No, I just meant if there was like an intermediate tire available. Do you think that might have been something better?
Got you. Oh no, yeah, definitely tonight will be much better because also with that we can go more speed in the straight, and also because it was not so wet, right? The track, so there were some parts where they were dry lines where you can go faster. Definitely the inters it will be really good ones here, especially with this weather condition. But yeah, so I think it'll be really good. A really good thing that we can have it here in this particular track. It will be really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to just have that one extra component there. And it's one of the toughest things. I mean, it's raining. Rain racing is not easy to begin with, but I almost feel like The toughest part is not, when it's dry or when it's fully wet. It's kind of those in between phases. It's when you're trying to figure out when to go from wets to slicks or vice versa, or in a situation like that, like this tonight where it's raining, so it's wet, but it's almost just kind of damp and it's just weird out there. So I feel like maybe that intermediate tire, maybe it's only good for 5-6 laps, but you could end up being 2 seconds faster on those 5 laps. So it'd be interesting to see. But either way, you get it home tonight in second place, and it was fun watching you just kind of stalk in the beginning of the race there. But you come home second. I know it's second again to Craig, but you get another podium, another notch in the belt, and you keep reminding him that you're still there, and one mistake is going to allow you to get up there. But I mean, are you happy with the second place tonight, or are you just pissed because it's Craig winning again?
No, it's
I couldn't hold the laughter.
So. I'm happy for a second place. I'm not happy because Craig didn't get that collision right there, right? But no, it's really funny, So this league is really fun. It really entertains. So you can race and you can do you can have battles, and all the drivers are really, really clean drivers. And this is really good to have, right? So most of the time, we can see that everybody respect each other, and during the race, and that's a really good thing to have. And so I'm really happy for second place. Unfortunately, I have 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, I think, I missed the race because I was really anxious to race on Road America. And also, to put that something else in there. But so unfortunately, I had something wrong with my hardware equipment, and I wasn't able to race. But so it's a really, really good one. And I'm trying to keep there every race, trying to see what happened, trying to maintain my pace. Well, it's the most important thing, right, as a driver that we can do. Maybe sometimes I don't try to go much faster than I can drive, because that is where all the mistakes come in, right? So, so I'm just trying to keep there, and trying to get good results. But it's good. It's fun. It's really, really fun.
Well, it's good that all the hardware situation is cleared up. It's something that I don't think any of us wish on anybody else's is any kind of hardware issues. I mean, it's one thing where if there's a power outage or something like that, something completely out of your control. There's really nothing you can do, but it's the hardware ones that really kind of scare you. So good to hear that everything is back up and running enough to get you in second place here tonight. So congratulations again on yet another podium here tonight. One more race to go, Misano next week. We'll see if you can get yet another one to finish off, and maybe somebody sends it into Craig next week and gives you the win next week. But before he lets you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
No, to you guys. Yeah, actually, this broadcast is really good one. So I really enjoyed every next day after the race, watching the broadcast. And thank you guys for all the effort you're doing all the whole season right here. I really thanks for all the comments, all the effort that you put in this, and also to everybody in the league, right? So the admins, Greg, Colin, Peter, all the guys, also James, all the guys that are involved in that this league is having plays every Wednesday. So it's thank you to all of them, and also thank you to my family as well. That everything is good, and wish you the best to everybody. I think that's pretty much, guys. So thank you very much for all the good job that you are doing here.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, and good job for you as well out there on the track. We'll see if you can do it one more time next week at Misano.
Nice. I hope I know all my cross fingers will to someone can get.
Or just start paying people off. I mean, that could be the easier way to do it too. All right, we will see you next week at Misano, Siviani.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
You too. That is your second place finisher here in the pro class, the 8 of Siviani Madrigal. Last but not least is the driver that everybody loves out here, and nobody talks bad about him at all, especially just getting done talking with Siviani. But it is the winner here tonight, the 3 of Craig Jancic. And Joe, why don't you go and take our winner here tonight?
Craig, is back-to-back nights. You get wins on CRN. How about that, huh?
It's a great accomplishment, you know. We've got dry 2 mile round Michigan, and we've got wet, squiggly, tumultuous Hockenheim. What a wonderful world.
I'm sure it's been done. We probably have to go check our records there, Carl. But I'm sure somebody's won back-to-back nights and on CRN. But I don't think in this combination, though. You know, with like you said at Michigan, and then here in the rain. So you get it done. You and Mr. Neal had quite the battle there. The first part of the race, as it was quite entertaining to watch you guys going back and forth there.
It was quite entertaining to do. I am a known rain hater. This was a heck of a lot of fun, and I don't know honestly if it was because the battling was fun or if it because I don't know if I just enjoyed this combination of track and rain. But yeah, Neil and I had a great fight. I mean, we showed it starting in turn 1 of the first lap, crossing each other under and stuff. It was a really good time. I had no consistency tonight, to be honest. I think maybe consistently I was able to keep it on the track, but my lap times were all over the place. And that's probably, honestly, it's probably a good thing because it shows like this is hard. This is not easy, this rain stuff. And you've got to, half the battle, honestly, is just keeping it all 4 on the whole time. And if you're able to do that within good reason, I do think that no matter what class you're in, you've probably got a really good podium chance. And I'm really happy with the outcome, of course. I hate it for Colin. That hit took his arm pretty good, and I hope he's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. Honestly, no way is it really. I'm not here to say anything about like that was an egregious thing, but like my God, not only do you not see it coming, but then the actual brutality of the hit is just crazy. But yeah, so my thoughts with my good buddy Colin there. I do think this puts us in a really good spot for next week at Misano. I don't know what the math's going to look like in particular, but it should feel pretty nice for a gap. And we can learn the track at a good pace and just make sure we finish that one too.
Yeah. So one question I had for you was I know you love going in depth on things, and I'm excited to hear this answer.
Hell yeah.
Can you explain the braking differences on this type of track in this situation as opposed to just a flat out dry, 70-degree day?
Yeah, so a generalization, and this is, I'm going to say this is probably true about 90% of the time. If in the dry you brake at the 300 marker, no, let's change that. If in the dry you brake at the 200 marker, in the wet you're going to brake at the 300 marker. You need that much more time to let this tire slow itself down. The iRacing does a great job simulating wet brakes as well. I know we've all felt that on the highway, or even coming to a stop sign on the real road. These cars aren't immune to it, and they're going to feel it just the same way. So it's about a 100-yard braking difference in timing. And specifically with a car like the GT3s here that have ABS systems, you don't want to get on ABS at all with braking these things. You still want to come right up to that threshold of like 60-70% pedal pressure to get these things stopped on a dry day. But you really want to flirt more like 50-60% pedal pressure in the wet, because if you hit ABS in the wet, it's never gonna stop. It's as close to locking the brakes on an ABS car as you can possibly get. So there's a little bit of extra cognizance that you have to have with your actual left foot, just the same way you've got to adjust the braking point itself manually too. It's probably a little bit more helpful to roll into the pedal with this as well as it is to just stand on it and go right to 60%. It's a little bit better to do it incrementally. Now that being said, I honestly think Neil was a little bit better on brakes than me here tonight. I don't know if I was just being hyper cautious knowing the championship situation that I was in, because I didn't really try to put it out to 100% most of the time. But I will say that Neil probably had me in most of the braking zones. Maybe he had better lines and practiced that too. But generally, those two would be my biggest tidbits.
Yeah, that's what one thing I'm learning with the road side of it, obviously with the braking in normal conditions, but then you throw on top of the rain coming down and on the track already, and there's obviously the two, not vastly different braking techniques, but definitely different techniques on how to do it. When in the rain, you want like a more of a slow, longer braking zone and kind of more controlled, as opposed to when in normal conditions you can kind of just get on it a little bit harder and do it that way. So I just wanted your input on that and how you do it.
Yeah, totally, man.
Explaining things.
I have a way with words. Sometimes it's too many of them, but I've got a way with them.
You do great, and I enjoy every time I get a chance to talk to you and ask and just pick your brain too. Not only for myself but for all the viewers out there and other drivers. If there's somebody you want to try to emulate or trying to take any kind of information from, you're the man to do that. So definitely appreciate that insight and that information.
I appreciate that from you, man. Thank you. I definitely, if everybody can get a little bit better from watching me, then you know what, like, just keep pushing that bar further and further and further and further and further, and it gives us all something to chase and catch up to. And if you help one person get better, like, you get to reap those benefits. Like, honestly, I know something happened here with Bryce on the last lap, and I feel for him on that too. But like, I've had so much fun lately connecting with him directly, a local friend of mine that just got into iRacing realistically not all that long ago, and being able to impart a lot of knowledge on him has helped me in a way too, because it gives me more time, it gives me more words to think about. It becomes even that much more of a cerebral game for me too. So yeah, I love explaining it all to anybody who asks. So I really appreciate that, Nod.
Yeah, this last thing, just to kind of, you kind of brought it up there, and I was going to mention it anyways, but you've kind of taken Bryce under your wing, teaching him things, this and that, and showing him how everything's done. And what do you say to him after this race?
I haven't. This is not the first time that he has heard me say this. This is not the first time that probably a lot of people have heard me say this. And spoiler alert, if you're not into spoilers, block your ears for about 10 seconds. He's going to be in the pro division next season, period. Mm-hmm. You don't have that kind of raw speed and stay in AM. But if my message to him this week, looking forward to Misano, I just want a 0x race at this point. Give me a top 7 overall with 0x, and maybe that is an AM win, maybe it's not. I don't know how Christian, John, anybody of our top runners in the AM class here, I don't know how they feel about Misano, but give me a 0x top 8, and that's a win no matter what. And then let's carry this energy towards mid-September when we bring out our season 11 here, and he will be in the pro class running for that season if he could keep that type of stuff up, because he's got the pace and he's got the talent and he's got the ability, and that's clear, I think, to anybody that watches this, whether it's new or old. But I think a lot of us, we're all our own worst enemies to a degree. Mm-hmm. And when we can put a limitation to that and see where that line is, that's what you get to thrive within at first, and then you just push that line further and further and further. And that's what I want to see from him from the next, I know we only got one more race in this season, so it's hard to set that as a metric, but let's say this week plus the first 3 of season 11.
Yeah, it was. This race was, roller coaster for Bryce. I mean, and watching him progress through this race and just to have the heartbreak at the end, just I really don't remember last time I've seen something like that, and it was heartbreaking. But I wanted to see if you had some words of wisdom to him, and for other people out there, it could be in a similar situation or something like that. But thank you for that, and congrats on the win. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to you guys at Core. As always, it's top-notch stuff with you guys in this league, in the Core Xfinity that I'm in, and in all the other series that you guys put out as well. I've watched a couple of the different truck series that you guys do as well, and it's just as top-notch. So thank you. I know I'm hopefully not spoiling anything on your guys' end here either, but we'll definitely be excited to renew this contract for at least one more season. Hopefully many more beyond that, but we take things season by season right here. But thank you guys for that, and thanks to all my supporters: TCSP, DSS, Martin, Simagic, Studio 3, all my family, my girlfriend Anna. Thank you so much for being on my team, and we'll roll on to Misano feeling pretty comfortable, but also thinking of Colin, and hopefully we have a really good showing next week for the season finale.
Yeah, 29 here tonight, and I'm sure you guys always fill it up late in the season, so we'll see a similar car count next week at Misano. So congrats on another win here in season 9, and we'll see you next week. See if you can't get number 6 next week.
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it would be 6. So
there you go.
We'll see what we can do. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Joe. Hope you guys have a good night.
You too.
That is your winner here tonight, overall and in the pro class. The 3 of Craig Jancic. Another good run for him this entire season. Has just been a good run for him, and tons of wins racking it up, and going to be a well-deserved back-to-back champion here in the pro class. I want to thank everybody again out there that tuned in to CRN here tonight. We got another one coming right up very soon here, coming up at the top of the hour. That is going to be the Yes Car Truck Series, so make sure you tune into that one once that pops up. And hit that like and subscribe to get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. I mean, if you like racing, you owe it to yourself. Let's be honest. I mean, it's been great racing just about every time we click that live button. Want to thank the sponsor here tonight, as always, that being Skyler Vickroy, and check him out behind the wheel on his YouTube at AVOVOOM Gaming, or check him out on his Twitch with the Twitch handle AVOVOOM. It's been a fun one here. We're down to one last race at Misano next week. A new track. It's going to be, I think, the first time that CRN is going to take the trip to Misano. So I'm looking forward to it, seeing what these drivers have to offer one last time. See if we get some new winners out there, or see if the same drivers, Craig and Christian, can get it done one more time. That is going to do it for CRN's coverage here at Hockenheim. For Joe Sullivan and myself, Carl Handwerk. We'll see you at the track.